Casinos spend millions designing slot machines to drain your wallet. But buried in the math is one legal loophole that flips the advantage. Former employees call it advantage play, and it has nothing to do with cheating, card counting, or breaking any rules. It is a strategy so simple that regulators had to allow it, but so effective that casinos have quietly changed their floors to hide it. Most players walk past these opportunities every single day, chasing luck instead of logic. What you are about to learn is not a secret hack or a magic system. It is pure mathematics, confirmed by former slot technicians and admitted by the industry itself. If you have ever dropped money into a slot machine, this could change everything. The trick starts with a specific type of progressive jackpot called a must-hit buy. Unlike standard progressives that can hit at any time, these machines are legally required to pay out before the meter reaches a specific KP. You will see it displayed right on the screen: must hit by $5,000, or must hit by $1,000, or sometimes even lower. The casino is telling you, in plain sight, that the jackpot will trigger before that number is reached. What they are not telling you is how the system decides when to pay. Here is where the math gets interesting. The moment the jackpot resets after a win, the machine's software randomly selects a secret number somewhere between the minimum starting value and the disclosed maximum. Say the display reads "must hit by $1,000" and the meter has just reset to $200. Internally, the system might have chosen $743 as the trigger point. No one knows that number, not the floor staff, not the technician, not even the casino manager. It is locked inside the progressive controller, invisible to everyone. But here is the edge. As the meter climbs closer to the cap, the odds shift in the player's favor. A former slot technician with 15 years on the floor explains it this way: if the must-hit buy is set at $1,000 and the meter is sitting at $950, you know for certain the jackpot will land within the next $50 of play. The closer you get to that cap, the smaller the range, and the better your odds become. It is not luck anymore. It is probability working in your direction. Professional advantage players have been using this for decades. They walk the casino floor with notepads or phones, scanning must-hit buy meters and calculating the break-even point. The break-even point is the magic number where the expected value of playing that machine becomes positive. Below that point, the house still has the edge. Above it, the player does. The formula is not complicated. You take the amount remaining until the cap, divide it by the average bet per spin and the machine's overall return to player percentage, and you get a rough threshold. When the meter crosses into profitable territory, advantage players sit down and play until the jackpot hits. Casinos know this happens. They have always known. In the early 2000s, must-hit buy progressives were everywhere, especially in smaller casinos trying to attract players with the promise of guaranteed wins. But sharp players started hunting them, moving from machine to machine, cashing out jackpots, and walking away with consistent profits. One advantage player, who requested anonymity, described hitting 6 must-hit buy jackpots in a single weekend, all by waiting for meters to climb into the profitable zone. The casinos could not stop him. He was not cheating. He was not using devices. He was just doing the math. The industry's response was swift but subtle. Over the past decade, casinos have quietly reduced the number of must-hit buy machines on their floors. Where banks of 20 or 30 machines once fed into a single progressive, you might now find only a handful scattered across the property. The caps have been lowered too. Instead of must-hit by $5,000, new setups cap out at $500 or even $250, shrinking the window where advantage play is viable. Some casinos have replaced must-hit buy progressives entirely with mystery progressives, where the cap is hidden and players have no information to calculate an edge. But the machines still exist. Walk into any mid-sized casino, especially off the strip or in regional markets, and you will find them. The key is knowing what to look for. Must-hit-by meters are usually displayed prominently on the machine screen or on an overhead sign. The wording is specific: must-hit-by, must-go-by, or mystery, progressive, with a disclosed maximum. If the display shows a progressive jackpot but does not mention a cap, it is a standard progressive, and this strategy does not apply.
Timing matters. The best opportunities appear during off-peak hours when fewer players are feeding the meters. Late at night or early in the morning, you might find a must-hit by sitting at 90% of its cap, untouched because the casino is nearly empty. Advantage players set alarms, check floors at odd hours, and move fast when they spot a high meter. One former cocktail server remembers watching the same group of players circle the floor every night, phones out, checking meters like clockwork. Management knew what they were doing, but there was nothing illegal about it. They were just better at math than the average gambler. Bankroll is critical. Even when the math is in your favor, variance can drain your credits before the jackpot hits. If a must-hit buy is set at $1,000 and the meter reads $980, you still need enough money to cover potentially hundreds of spins. The system does not care if you are the one who pushes it over the edge. If you run out of money and walk away, the next player gets the win. Professional advantage players bring enough cash to survive the swings, knowing that over time, the math will deliver. The casino's countermeasures go beyond just removing machines. Some properties have started using dynamic must-hit-by caps, where the maximum changes based on the time of day or the level of play. Others have installed team play detection software that flags groups of players who appear to be coordinating their efforts, moving between machines in patterns that suggest advantage play. Floor staff are trained to watch for players who sit down only when meters are high and leave immediately after a jackpot. In extreme cases, casinos have been known to ask advantage players to leave, not for cheating, but for trespassing or for violating house policies against professional gambling. Legally, the casinos are in a tough spot. Must-hit-by progressives are regulated and certified by gaming commissions. The disclosed cap is part of the machine's approved math model, and changing it on the fly or refusing to pay out would violate the terms of the license. As long as players are not using devices, colluding, or manipulating the machine, they are simply playing within the rules. A gaming attorney who has represented both casinos and players explains that advantage play is not illegal. It is just unpopular. The casinos built the game, set the rules, and certified the math. If a player is smart enough to exploit it, that is on them. The real secret is not just finding a high meter. It is knowing when to walk away. Even with the math in your favor, the house edge on the base game still applies to every spin. If you sit at a must-hit buy that is $10 away from the cap, but the base game has a 90% return to player, you are still losing 10 cents on every dollar you bet outside of the progressive. The jackpot has to be large enough to overcome that drain. This is where the break-even calculation becomes essential. Advantage. Players do not chase every high meter. They calculate, confirm, and commit only when the numbers make sense. For the average player, the takeaway is simple. If you see a must-hit-by meter climbing toward its cap, especially if it is within 10 or 20% of the maximum, you have found one of the few scenarios in a casino where the math works in your favor. Sit down, play at the minimum bet to stretch your bankroll, and wait for the system to deliver. Do not chase losses. Do not increase your bets, hoping to speed up the process. Just play consistently until the jackpot hits.
then cash out and leave. The machine does not owe you another win, and the base game will start draining your credits the moment the progressive resets. Casinos hate this strategy because it turns their own design against them. Must-hit-buy progressives were created to attract players with the promise of a guaranteed win, but the industry did not account for players who would treat the game like an investment rather than entertainment. The result is a legal loophole that has cost casinos millions and forced a quiet redesign of slot floors across the country. The machines are disappearing, the caps are shrinking, and the opportunities are fewer than they were a decade ago. But they are still out there, waiting for anyone smart enough to recognize them. The edge is real, the math is verified, and the casinos cannot stop you from using it as long as you play by the rules. This is not about luck or superstition. It is about walking onto the floor with knowledge, discipline, and a calculator. In a building designed to separate you from your money, that might be the only real trick that works. What would you do if you found a must-hit buy at 95%? Share your strategy below.